6-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford, where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at woodyandersonford.com.
Four-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa, hailed as one of the world's greatest guitar players. Blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa, performing live March 19th at the BBC Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. AHSAA Regional Basketball back on the hardwood today. Regional finals from the Northwest Regional at Wallace State Hansville. Class 5A girls, Gunnersville takes on West Point. And then on the boys' side, Gunnersville's going to meet East Limestone. And Class 4A, Wilson meets Good Hope in girls play. And then on the boys' side, Deschler takes on West Morgan. All the winners move on to the Final Four. Action from the Northeast Regional at Jack State. Class 7A semifinals. On the girls' side, Albertville takes on Vestavia Hills. And then Sparkman's going to take on Hoover. In 7A boys, Sparkman meets Vestavia Hills, and then Huntsville will take on Hoover. 46 years after the United States won its last men's hockey gold at the Olympics, they do it again yesterday, knocking off Canada 2-1 in overtime. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Lynn Leighton Ford, located online at lynnleightonford.com. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Flying a solo today, trying to adjust the volumes here. Hang on to me momentarily. It's a Monday edition of The Drive. And when I say I'm flying a solo, I am behind the glass, hitting all the buttons. Let's see here. What can I mess up first? Unless you're Mark Pope, I don't know. Coming up on the program today, we will indeed talk to Coach Jerry Glanville. So I say I'm flying a solo, but, I mean, all I'm going to have to do is ask 3 or 4 questions to Coach Glanville. The biggest story from over the weekend has got to be Team USA Hockey. But the men and women both down Canada in overtime. And yes, if you were to look, saw most of that second period, all of the third period, and the overtime. And yes, to Coach Cooper's comments, it's what the Olympics decided to do, even in the gold medal round, is go 3-on-3, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think was initially adopted by the SPHL, I think. But nonetheless, 3-on-3 hockey, that's not hockey. Listen, I know there's probably all the Canadian purists out there not believing that there is some kind of asterisk on that gold medal. All I do know is the folks that were wearing the gold medal after that hockey game are the team from the United States of America. That was a lot of fun to watch yesterday morning. But there's no doubt who the best player was out on that hockey rink, and that was the goaltender for the United States of America. That was really impressive. There was a couple of mini breakaways that Canada had, and then Stone by Hellebuck, Connor Hellebuck, with just one remarkable save after another. The stories from today, boy, congratulations to the Sparkman Senators. Sparkman downs Vestavia, and the Sparkman Senators move on and will play Wednesday as Sparkman downs Vestavia 52-51. Now, remember, the Sparkman Senators lost 7A Area 7 in the boys' side of things at Huntsville High School. And then this afternoon, Huntsville High fell to Hoover down at the Pete. And at least following along, and yes, I was following as closely as I could while running Bill Crawford's show, which I did this afternoon from 2 to 4, and flying a solo. Brian Temple is out sick, and my guys in the morning have better things to do than help out, their program director. So, final score was 61-54. Hoover a winner. 42 total points were scored in the fourth quarter. Hoover ends up scoring 22 of that 44, but Hoover once again getting the better of Huntsville, and so we are going to get on Wednesday the Sparkman Senators and Obadiah Threadgill's squad taking on the Hoover Bucks for the right to go to Birmingham. So we can all get behind and support the Senators and root on, although it would have been really awesome to have an all 7A Area 7 matchup. I think it would have been the fifth meeting between them, I think. But nonetheless, Sparkman took care of business over Vestavia by 1, and then Hoover downs the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. In case you did not hear my initial, the hot mic for Mark Pope, what he had to say as, speaking of 1-point winners, like I mentioned here with the Sparkman Senators, it was also a 1-point win for the Auburn Tigers over the Kentucky Wildcats coming out. So a hot mic got Mark Pope. Now, this is muddled a little bit, but the microphones were rolling. The Mitch that he says at the beginning, that's Mitch Barnhart, the athletic director at the University of Kentucky.
Those motherfuckers try to fight school, man. They did not say a word about how they cheated us.
Not a word on it, so I'll let you listen to that one more time.
Those motherfuckers try to fight school, man. They did not say a word about how they cheated us.
Auburn a winner, 75-74 over the Kentucky Wildcats. Oh, goodness. I'm sure LSU had nothing to say after Kentucky won in a last-second dramatic fashion there earlier in the year. Mark Pope, a little bit of class right there with a capital C. Other winners from over the weekend, Alabama stumbled a bit. I was listening to this on and off Saturday night. Wasn't the cleanest of games for the Alabama Crimson Tide, but in the end, a win is a win. 20th win of the year for Nate Oates' squad. Nate Oates, by the way, is now an assistant coach on the under-18 American team that is coached by Anthony Grant. Yeah, that Anthony Grant. Other winners in SEC basketball include Tennessee as they downed Vanderbilt in what many people are deeming as an upset. I don't know if that's that big of an upset. 69-65 is that final score. Georgia, a home winner over Texas. They won it by 11, 91-80. Much needed win for the Dogs there. South Carolina wins at home, 97-89. Florida gets a road win at Ole Miss. And what did I miss? Texas A&M, a road win at Oklahoma as Bucky Ball applies the tourniquet a little bit and stops the bleeding on what has been a rough couple of weeks after a 7-1 start. The schedule really ramped up. All right, that aside, something that may catch your eye this week is the potential news on targeting in college football. Yeah, I've texted back and forth with Steve Shaw. In fact, I tentatively had Steve Shaw, who's the national coordinator of officials, on potential last week, but he told me he wanted to wait till the news comes out this week. And he would not be very specific with me, but he was saying that there will be news in regards to targeting, which leads me to believe the suspensions, most specifically, if you get that targeting call in the second half where you get suspended in the first half of a following game, I think that's going away. And I do believe that you're also going to get a college basketball style of targeting of flagrant 1, flagrant 2, and yes, it will be reviewable and be very much right in. This is what I think is going to happen. It's not as if Steve Shaw told me that this was going to happen, but the targeting rule in particular, I know, is one rule that has been a hot button issue around college football fans over the last handful of years. I want to say now 8, maybe even 9 years, honestly, since targeting. Remember when targeting was first implemented, it was going to be a 15-yard penalty no matter what. They did that for a year. Even if it was, they looked at it on video review and they rescinded it, it was still 15 yards no matter what. So I'll keep an eye on that. Certainly, if you'd like to call in, you can do so. But Jerry Glanville is set to join me, on the other side of our first time out. It's just a 1-hour endeavor here on a Monday. So I'm going to hand the keys over to Coach Glanville right after this timeout. It is a Monday edition of The Drive. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers, up to $10,000 off. New 25 Bronco Sport start under $27,000. That's right, just $26,800 after a $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. New 25 Broncos start at just $36,500. That's $36.5 after the $1,000 Ford Owner Loyalty Rebate. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. All these offers with your good credit, and we hope to see you soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers, up to $10,000 off. New 25 Bronco Sport start under $27,000. That's right, just $26,800 after a $1,000 Ford Owner Loyalty Rebate. New 25 Broncos start at just $36,500. That's $36,500 after the $1,000 Ford Owner Loyalty Rebate. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. All these offers with your good credit, and we hope to see you soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Welcome to Kern Electrical, where teamwork powers every project. Our champion sales team takes time to understand your needs, tailoring the perfect Generac generator for your home or business. Our project managers handle all coordination, ensuring a tackle-free installation. Our certified installation crews ensure peace of mind, even in the darkest moments. With our service and maintenance lineups, you can be assured we're with you every step of the way. Experience the home team advantage of Kern Electrical, your Generac superstore.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than.
And we welcome you back here to The Drive. It is a Monday edition of The Drive. Wes is still on his way back. Brian Temple still down and out with a little bit of a sickness. Hope he can come back sooner rather than later. But nonetheless, back here with you. Steve Moulton flying a solo, sort of, but not now, as Coach Jerry Glanville comes in here on a Monday. How are you today, Coach?
Well, I'm really good. I was just driving. I'm in my car. I did a high school clinic down at Toledo Central.
Okay.
I was trying to learn a little football and teach a little football to the coaches. Just had a real nice session. But I wanted to say, I went down to Cincinnati on Saturday for a wedding, and I was watching the Tennessee play Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, I better get in the car. I'm going to miss the wedding. And so I went off to get in my car, and Tennessee was down 13 points. I said, well, that's against Vandy. And I got to drive, and I got to Cincinnati. And Tennessee, they kept Vanderbilt from scoring a point in 6 minutes of the ball game.
Jeez.
That's defense.
Did you see Cincinnati down in Kansas over the weekend too in college basketball? That I did a double take when I saw that. But Cincinnati's a team that I've been kind of gravitating to a little bit more and more, Coach. But
when I was a youngster, which was 100 years ago, college basketball was Cincinnati, Xavier, Dayton, and Ohio State. How about that? Jeez. They were the top teams. They could all play. And I went off and coached I was in Oregon, and our team had a big upset in the tournament, and we had to go to Boise State to play Xavier. And I said, I've seen this. This is not going to be pretty. If it was a heavyweight fight, they'd have called off at halftime. They beat us to death.
My high school coach played with the Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Wow.
So I at least he would talk to us about the Big O in particular. And every time I could see him, boy, he would have. He was ahead of his time. He would have had there been social media and a bigger television presence. I think the Big O would be a bigger deal in today's society, Coach.
Absolutely. And I got to talk about TV and publicity because we're close to Detroit. We're 60 miles from Detroit.
Okay.
And all the American hockey players go to the hockey school in Detroit. So hockey's huge up in this area. And it's true that hockey families are really, really different. So here's USA going for gold. They've only won the gold twice prior to this Olympics, and all these kids were in Detroit. They're great kids, and they don't have a chance against Canada. So hockey's 5-on-5 and 2 goalies. Well, I'm watching this third period, and for the people in this area are so smart about hockey, they're like Alabama people on football. And Canada's trying to win the game in the third quarter, and America is trying to run the clock out, get the clock over, to play overtime, because we cannot beat Canada 5-on-5. They got 4 shots to every one of our shots, but overtime is 3-on-3.
That's right.
And most people probably across the United States says, well, why aren't they shooting? Why are they just putting that puck down there behind the net? And then it went overtime, and we had a shot, and it was such a thrill to see those. What was neat, only in hockey, the kid in the third quarter gets his front teeth knocked out, and in the overtime wins the game. Is that awesome?
He needs some kind of toothpaste deal. He needs some kind of NIL scope. You know, I can see, but especially what he said about loving his country afterwards as well, and getting that. And listen, I know it's that you're probably going to get the Canadians out there. There is no doubt that they were an elite team, but the best player on the rink though yesterday morning though, Coach, was our goaltender. He just turned into a stone more than anything.
It was and it's kind of funny. The guy that picked the teams picked our goalie and caught all kinds of hell for picking the goalie. Who he had 41 shots on goal and they made 1. How about that?
Jeez. I know it's. There was a couple of mini breakaways that I thought, here it comes. Here it comes. And then Hellebuck, Connor Hellebuck is the goaltender's name, and he had the game of his life. It is hard to believe it's only the third time ever that has happened, and the first time since 1980. Where were you in 80, Coach? Do you remember, where were you in 80?
Wow, in 1980, I was coaching somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking it up.
Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, were you defensive coordinator with the Falcons under Lehman Bennett?
Yes. Yeah. That's a long time ago. But here's what people aren't saying. It's the first time American hockey team won gold on foreign soil.
That's right.
The other team won was right here in the United States.
That's right. Yeah. That was a lot of fun to watch. Even
it really was.
It especially, I was enthralled with it, Coach. I watched a lot of the second period, third period. Boy, it felt like we were hanging on.
Oh my God!
Just to get to overtime,
it looked like we shouldn't be on the ice with those five people. That 5-on-5, we couldn't match up. When it got overtime, everybody in this area said, 3-on-3, we got a shot. Because one of the brothers, the guy that shot the winning goal in overtime, his brother shot the winning goal in overtime against Sweden to get us in that game.
That's right. I mean, there are certain parts of this story where I'm sure a writer would be like, nah, that can't happen. No, that can't happen. But it sure enough did. And the USA women win in overtime as well over Canada, and the USA men win in overtime against Canada. So it's on to dominate in another sport because we're clearly the best in hockey right now, Coach.
Well, I thought when we beat Denmark, we would get Greenland. I thought they were playing for Greenland, and nobody brought that up. That Trump should have said, whoever wins this gets the
island. The stakes are a little bit higher in the Olympics this go around. Yeah. Literal citizenship. I have you coached any Olympians in your career, Coach?
I don't think so. I coached against the 49ers had a wide receiver, and unfortunately, you were probably in the stadium. He ran a center cut on those Atlanta Falcons, and they knocked him out, and that was the end of his career. But I don't think I have.
I know the story of Bullet Bob Hayes, and that just trying to get some speed, and the likes of Willie Gault, and that that's what made me think that there is a little crossover there for a minute. I want to say late 60s, 70s, there was an idea of being good in track and field, to incorporate that speed in the NFL.
Well, and whenever you draft a guy that's a track guy, Jerry Glanville says he'll be injured. He won't make it. So the Washington Redskins pick a first-round quarterback. He's all world. He does everything. Boom. Never plays another year. I've watched all the track guys come into football, and I love track. They do a great job, but you don't get knocked down in track ordinarily.
Yeah. But in today's game, I'm starting to think that there might be you know where I'm going, Coach.
What?
There might be more of a place for those guys.
What you're saying is some teams aren't knocking anybody down, so don't worry about it.
Well, are you not seeing the same thing I'm seeing, Coach? I mean, it's
I can neither confirm nor deny.
You mentioned about going down to high schools and talking to coaches there. How much are you learning in today's game of how these coaches are preparing the young players in the game right now? Tell me about that experience for you, Coach.
Well, where I was today, they're always in the state championship in their class, and they do a great job. So while I was coaching the coaches, I could hear the weight coach just screaming and hollering. I went out and watched them, the full 100% work every day. They're lifting weights. The coaches are trying to learn new things. The coaches are good football coaches. And to be a high school coach, and I've been one. I was a high school coach for 3 years, and it's a lot of work, and you got to do a lot of things. In fact, when I was a high school coach, I was in charge of, you'll love this, I was in charge of girls' restroom hollering for smokers. So if any girls were in the restroom smoking, I had to tell them to come out. And then another one of my duties was when school was over, I had to empty the parking lot. And I'm the football coach. Good memories.
Yeah, yeah. Was there any carryover to dealing with the likes of Mr. Adams or?
No, there's only been one Mr. Adams in the history of the world, so there's no carryover to that. And there was no way you could prepare for that. It just happened, and you thought you were in some old movie that they were showing, and you were one of the characters in the movie. What great fun we had! And this week they put a sweatshirt, a white sweatshirt with the Houston Oilers on the web on the internet for sale, and it was what the kids wore back when we were in the Houston Oilers. And I sent the thing out to all my players that played for me in Houston. And before we could get them ordered, that Houston Oilers stuff, Steve, will sell out the minute they put it on the internet.
Unreal.
And they haven't played there in a long, long time.
Yeah. Was there any difference between Rankin Smith Sr. and Mr. Adams, or were they cut?
Only two owners in the history of the NFL that were fighter pilots in the war.
Really? I didn't know that.
So the similarity was they didn't take crap from anybody.
Yeah, I bet not.
And they both were fighter pilots. How about that?
I did not know that, Coach. At least there are a couple of vivid memories that I have from my childhood, and one was after the Dallas game. I'm not going to tell you the year, but you remember it, Coach. But after the Dallas game, of seeing a press conference and feeling as though that the organization is plateaued and that they had to move on. That's just, tattooed in my memory, Coach.
Yeah, that'd be there forever. And that plateau didn't get reached again until we went back.
How about that? Yeah. Because you came back 91, I want to say?
Pardon?
You came back in 91, I want to say?
I think it was 90.
Was it 90?
And the stands
it was
saying
90.
"Welcome home, welcome back." How about that?
Yeah.
Because when we were there, we were in the playoffs, and then I don't think they were in the playoffs till we went back.
That's right.
And so we had some fond memories there. And you have to remember the good days. You can't remember when you got mad and things happened, because you'll die a young man. What you want to do is keep enjoying yourself. Oh man, we're leaving Atlanta, but remember what we did here in '77. Remember what we did here in '91. We had the best football team, and so I think my memory of wiping out the bad memories keeps you going.
Well, I know and I know we've talked to you. I've talked to you in the past about this being Combine Week. How important is Combine Week when in the grand scheme of things, Coach? How important is Combine Week?
Well, I would say that when I was the head coach, I didn't go to the Combine workouts. And what I did is I watched film while everybody was over there. And I would tell my general managers, I've checked our schedule. We're not playing anybody next year in underwear. We are wearing full gear. So what you do in underwear, I mean, there's merit to things you learn. So I let the scouts go over and get excited about the vertical jump or whatever. But a great story. I'm the head coach at Atlanta. My poor general manager says, you better take another look at this nose tackle. His value is really going up the last 3 weeks. And I looked at my stupid general manager, Kenny Herrock, and I said, where has he been playing in the last 3 weeks? And he goes, well, he's not playing, but his value. I goes, why would a nose tackle's value go up? Unless he's in I-75 dodging Ford tractors, I'm not interested in what he's doing in underwear. I was a little.
So the 3-cone drill doesn't do anything for you, Coach, or
I'd rather take a bullet than watch the 3-cone drill.
Is knowing somebody's vertical, does that do? I mean, but I think what you're saying, the tape does not lie. And
well, the vertical here's the vertical. Believe it or not, equates to the 40. If you vertical, let's say you vertical 38 inches, I can tell you what you're going to run the 40 in. So that equates.
Really?
But what I did, I was interested in one thing for linemen, your 10-yard time.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get under a 1.6 as a defensive lineman, you can't get a sack if nobody blocks you. The ball's out. So those things help. But people forget about this. I was a coach, and you won't believe this. My scout said, we got to take this guy. This guy, we got to get him. We're in the 3rd round. I'm in the XFL. I said, we have to take him. Yeah, he's from Hawaii. You'll love him, Jerry's from Hawaii. And he broke every record at the combine. And I said, can I ask you a question? How many catches did he have last year? He was a wideout. Oh, 3. He had 3 catches, but he broke all the records at the combine. Production is as important as timing. If you can produce at the next level. Your athletic ability without production, I was never interested in.
Wow. And I know so many people are going to be locked in. It's with the 40-yard dash, or it just so.
You probably know the answer. Who was the slowest 40-yard dash quarterback every time?
I'll guess Tom Brady.
Yes, holds the record. He didn't do bad. So my point is, who cares?
There really is a different. I mean, you know better than most, Coach, of being in underwear and then football speed, of putting the pads on, and there is a difference from what I see, Coach. I can't imagine what you've seen over the years.
Well, a guy named Favre could not run the 40-yard dash, and I would put him in a 10-yard box, and we didn't have anybody could tag him. Well, so what's he do? He throws a lot of passes, moving away from a guy 3 steps. What did Brady do? He's going to get sacked that he could move 3 steps.
Yeah.
Reset the feet, and the ball's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't find that out in the combine. One year I was at everybody, geez, Jerry Glenn was coming to the combine. And the reason I did, Willie Nelson and John Cougar Millenkamp were doing Farm Aid in the Dome.
Okay.
And they allowed
That's
me
a
to
reason.
go to Farm Aid
Yeah.
and sing with Millenkamp and Willie. I was all in.
Who is the most famous person you have met, Coach?
It's either you or Wes.
No, I ain't buying that. I ain't buying that. Something tells me you've bumped into presidents.
Well, I was the bag man with the presidents. I was the guy that brought the money for Bud. So I got to be real close with the Bush family.
Okay.
And we'd eat dinner with the president and his wife, and we give him a check from the Houston Oilers. So that was pretty good. But I tell you, I've been fortunate, to be with all the entertainers, the singers. I love singers, and to be backstage and sing with some of the greatest singers.
You telling me you hung out with Dolly Parton, Coach? Is that what you telling me?
No,
Okay.
no, I never did. In fact, I never met her. But it was kind of funny. I helped Travis Tritt. I helped Little Texas. I helped people get a shot. Clint Black asked me if I could let him sing at the rodeo so he could get a gig, and probably we're in the backstage, and Bonnie Raitt was going to give the concert.
Wow.
And Bonnie Raitt says, "Coach, I'm going to warm up. If you want to come in the shower, you sing John Price part, great Alabama song, "There's Flies in the Kitchen," and there I am, and Bonnie Raitt in the shower, perfect pitch. She didn't need a sound. Perfect pitch. It was just amazing. So I've had all kinds of things like that happen for me. Danny Shirley was a great singer with Confederate Railroad, and we would do "Knocking on Heaven's Door" in honor of all the veterans.
Wow!
And he played the harmonica, and so I got to sing that at many venues. It was a lot of fun.
Maybe the best voice I've ever heard in a concert maybe goes to Martina McBride, Coach. I thought she had an amazing, well, it still has an amazing voice. But right after that, Shania Twain, she didn't need a microphone, at least in the concert I went to, where she was just on it in that one.
How about this? I'm going to give you one of the best voices I've ever heard in a concert. I was in Las Vegas, and I was shocked, was Dean Martin.
Wow, really?
He wasn't doing comedy with Jerry Lewis. He was singing. Wow, he could sing. Frankie Lane could sing. My favorite singer of all time was Jackie Wilson. Jackie Wilson was out of Detroit, and they wanted to do a Jackie Wilson play in New York City, and nobody would play the part because he's the only guy that ever sang in 5 octaves.
Wow. I've not heard too much of Jackie Wilson, Coach. I'm going to have to
look that up. Well, you're too young.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up.
He all-time Detroit singer. Just fantastic.
Wow. It has, looking at his library, is it fair to compare him to Smokey Robinson or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably Jackie Wilson. I loved them both. And when you're in Detroit, you play Motown. And, I was a Detroit kid, so Motown was where it was at. So I grew up listening to Jackie Wilson, who was probably 10 years ahead of Smokey. I knew Smokey when we lived in the projects, but his name wasn't Smokey then. It was Tom.
Funny what, a little success kicking it down the can will do to your name and image more than anything.
Yeah, I've been thinking about changing my name, see if I can do better.
Coach, I think you're doing just fine. I think you're doing
well. I'm driving this cop car, so I'm thinking about changing my name to Wes.
I don't know if that'll be good or bad for you, Coach, more than anything. All right, when is the trip to San Antonio for you, Coach?
Okay,
for the Toros.
In May, we do just the coaches. So I'll be there with the defensive staff, and we'll be going over what we're going to coach coach the players and what we're going to play. And that's only a week long, and we get all the coaches up to speed. And then we go back in May, the middle of May, and we're there for 10 weeks.
By the way, I don't know if you've ever read your Wikipedia, Coach. But
I'd say it's probably all wrong.
Well, this is part of it. Coach Glanville claimed, this is your Atlanta tenure as head coach. Coach Glanville claimed with Atlanta that he inherited a flat tire, but would take the team to the playoffs in the 91 season.
Well, when you're the head coach, if you get a flat tire, you're the guy that's got to bump it up.
Yeah. Was the flip to black, was that simultaneously when you took over the job in 90, or was that a year after getting into 91?
We broke you're not allowed to change your uniforms without notifying the NFL a year ahead of time, so they can sell out all the souvenirs they have. And I told Rankin, I don't want to wait a year. We have to change who we are, what we are. And Rankin, to his credit, the first year I was there, every game we took the field, he was fine.
Wow.
Because we didn't allow him to sell out that ugly red stuff. But he got a smile when we switched to black. We led the NFL in jerseys sold. How about that?
Yeah. And that probably helped out with a few record sales with MC Hammer that year in 91, if memory serves, Coach.
Yeah, MC Hammer was great. And you talk about meeting him. He wanted to speak to the team before a game. I let him talk before the team. And the speech he gave the team was better than anything I ever did in my life. He's better than me at that. Oh, it was fantastic. And, we had a lot of people traveling us. Evander Holyfield was with us, and he was such a great person. Jerry Jeff Walker, how about that?
Yeah.
Jeff Walker traveled with us. So we had a lot of fun, met a lot of good people.
Evander, I've only had the pleasure of I interviewed him once out at his house back in the day, and
that looked like the Holiday Inn, the size of that house.
Yeah. Well, he had to, Coach, because I think at the time he had 9 kids, so he could. There was an actual baseball diamond in the backyard, if memory serves. Yeah, no, but it just as you could tell that he took his training as serious as anybody that I've ever met, Coach.
Correct. He was special, and he talked to the team before a game, and he got on the airplane. Nobody invited him, and the PR director says, "Evander's sitting on our private plane, Jerry. You want to get him off?" I says, "Get him off. Give him my seat. I'll sit in the back."
If Evander wants to be on this plane, he can be on this plane. That would be my answer too, Coach.
Yeah, who's going to tell him to get off?
Yeah.
What's
real.
going to be me?
No, not a bit. Not a bit. Goodness. Oh, goodness. But really, I know we talked about the hockey game yesterday morning, but it did make me think back to 80 a good bit, and that was a special time with you and the Falcons back in the day, Coach.
And in those days, we had kids that were amateurs, and the team they beat in Russia was all professional.
That's
teams.
That's right.
So that was, you have no chance of doing that. And, one thing about Americans, when you tell them they got no chance, they're getting ready to kick your butt.
Did you go to any of the Olympics in '96, Coach?
Yes, and it was kind of a shock. I had a real good seat in Atlanta, and because so many things are going on, I had a full-time bodyguard through the Olympics. They didn't want you walking around by yourself, and I realized that when I was getting ready to watch the kid from Houston, the great track kid. He was an all-time sprinter.
Was that Ben Johnson, maybe, or
no?
Okay.
Smaller guy, littler guy.
Okay.
And walking in front of me were the women's shot putters from around the world walking over to the shot put pit. And I looked at them. I said, I wouldn't fight any one of those women. They had an arm on them, looked like it belonged on a cattle or something. And I said, look at the side. And they were from Slovakia and Czechoslovakia and all these places. And I just thought, wow. And then the sprinter, he lived in Houston. He's the famous guy, won all the gold stuff, and got to watch him run. And it was played in a stadium that now there's a college football team that bought the stadium and they play
Georgia
football.
State, yeah.
Georgia State now plays in that Olympic Stadium.
I ran cable in that. Michael Johnson had Carl Lewis. I remember Carl Lewis
was the most famous guy. That's who I went to see.
Yeah. I ran some cables one day at Olympic Stadium before it turned into Turner Field, and they were doing the walkthrough for the opening ceremonies, and there was an X in the upper left-hand portion, and all it said was Ali on it. And I didn't really equate the two until we all saw Muhammad Ali there lighting the torch. Lighting the torch.
Well, I'll let you go. I got to go find dinner.
Go find dinner, Coach. I appreciate you, Coach.
And one thing about dinner, I'm not in the deep south, but I can still find some biscuits and gravy.
I always appreciate you, Coach. Thank you so much. That's Coach Jerry Glanville joining us. And that's going to take us on to our second timeout. Final call for phone calls on the other side. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Coach Jerry Glanville. Just me and you here the rest of the way, walking you up to Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show. That comes up on the other side of our next segment. So feel free to call in. You can call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline at 256-576-4977.
First thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Lynn Leighton Ford, located online at lynnleightonford.com.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining 25 Mustangs, up to $8,500 off MSRP on select models. Yep, $8,500 off on a Mustang. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2025 Explorers, up to $10,000 off. New 25 Bronco Sport start under $27,000. That's right, just $26,800 after a $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. New 25 Broncos start at just $36,500. That's $36,500 after the $1,000 Ford owner loyalty rebate. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. All these offers with your good credit, and we hope to see you soon at Lynn Leighton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnleightonford.com.
Basketball fans, get ready as the Conference USA Basketball Tournament is set to return to the Rocket City in Probst Arena March 10th through 14th, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with Conference USA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. It's 5 days of exciting hoops action at BBC Probst Arena. Jump into the action by getting your tickets now by visiting Ticketmaster.com. And we'll see you inside the BBC March 10th through the 14th. Come find out who will be putting on their dancing shoes.
For 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers, and we invest in supporting you. We use our own technologies to automate, to provide you the best support possible. And we have the strongest guarantees in the industry. I just can't tell you I'm going to provide you great support. I have to prove it to you with my actions.
When you're craving a juicy, made-to-order burger with all your favorite toppings, it's time to head to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Fresh, never-frozen, hand-formed patties, crispy, fresh-cut fries, savory hot dogs, and topped off with an ice-cold real milkshake. Five Guys knows what you like. Come and get it in Huntsville on North Parkway and on Enterprise, and in Madison on Moonshot Drive and Highway 72. Order online at fiveguys.com or just walk in. Five Guys. Perfection every time.
I'm Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15 at participating locations. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. In New Market and Hampton Cove, and our new location, now open in Hartselle at 200 Main Street West, downtown. Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Low temperatures fall into the low 20s for this Monday night across the area with a mostly clear sky to be expected. Heading into Tuesday, no rain in the forecast, mostly sunshine. High temperatures start their warming trend today. We'll see the low 50s. Looks like rain returns back to the forecast late Wednesday night.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
That is Jackie Wilson, Lonely Teardrops. It's a 2 for Tuesday here on 96 Rock. I can see why Coach would get into this. It's not bad at all. Final call for phone calls here on this Monday edition of The Drive. In case you're just hopping into the car, some notes from earlier today down at Jacksonville State. It was Sparkman, a winner over Vestavia Hills. They will move on to play Hoover as the Bucks down Huntsville High in the Sweet 16. So I tell you what, after seeing as much that Coach Schweers replaced off that team from last year, another remarkable run for Huntsville High, and a lot coming back, honestly, for that Huntsville High boys basketball team. Be excited to see what they look like in February of 27. Right now, currently, Gunnersville and East Limestone are at it in 5A boys basketball. I believe that's probably over at the Northwest Regional at Wallace Hansville. But there is, I think Lee, if I'm not mistaken, plays tomorrow. Let me see if I can't bring up the 6A boys bracket and double check that so I'm not telling you a fib. They are playing Coleman tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. Lee and Coleman, as Lee downs Muscle Shoals to get to the round, and then Coleman down Clay Chalkville. So you get Lee and Coleman coming up tomorrow afternoon, scheduled of a 2:15 tip-off time. So plan accordingly there. Also, other notes that did not get a chance to get to as well. Betty Yacco's attorneys are back in the courtroom as they filed an appeal to the Alabama Supreme Court of the Tuscaloosa County Circuit Court Judge Daniel Pruitt's decision denying him his injunction against the NCAA. We'll see whether or not this will get pursued any further, but that happened this morning. The Betty Yacco story is not done in that regard. So keep a close eye on that. moving forward. And what am I forgetting that I don't have in front of me here at the moment? Well, there's always questions in the offseason, and Josh Pate, who just sat down with the President of the United States, he was asked his biggest question marks entering into the college football season in the Southeastern Conference.
Because we got a sickness, we got a mind disease in college football where if you have a returning quarterback, everyone just thinks they get 20% better. That's not an automatic. We call that the Garrett Nussmeier protocol. We can call that the Cade Klubnik protocol. We call that the Drew Aller protocol. We learned it harshly last year across college football. So Gunnar Stockton returns for Georgia. Is he going to really substantially improve? Is Marcel Reed or John Mateer going to substantially improve? Arch Manning's going to be favored to win the Heisman Trophy. How much better should I reasonably expect him to be? Trinidad Chambliss, if he is indeed starting for Ole Miss, your most recent memory is him playing like a rock star in the playoffs. Is that just what I'm going to get next year? Maybe even better? Well, what about Lenora Sellers at South Carolina? They're paying him a lot of money. A lot's expected of him. Are we going to see improved play? It's not a guarantee just because you're returning. And then, lastly, and I'll move on here, where's my wild card? Where is my Vanderbilt coming out of nowhere to go 10-2 and flirt with a playoff spot? Where is my Oklahoma with a preseason over-under win total of 6.5 going to the playoffs? Is it Missouri? Is it Eli Drinkwitz? Got a workable opening schedule? Not maybe easy, but workable. So Austin Simmons, remember this, he transferred there, the quarterback from Ole Miss. He transferred to Missouri. And they open up with Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then they've got a game at Kansas. Then they got Troy. Then they open against Mississippi State. They got Florida at home. Back half of the schedule is pretty brutal.
So some thoughts there from Josh Pate. Interesting, those on he went there early in one of the videos that he populated earlier today on the Auburn football team. Going to take a close listen to that and maybe react to that a little bit later on the week. And then keep in mind the targeting rule will be talked quite a bit about this week surrounding the sport of college football. Nate Oates Show is next. Talk to you tomorrow.
More savings, more selection, more for your trade. I'm Bobby White, and we've got more to love all month long at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. While they last, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 F-150 crew cabs. $11,000 off F-150. Save more on remaining